Okay. Bueno, vamos a hablar en los paquetes. Tienes, go back to the notes side first before you start working on that, Preston. Just below your parts of the body, you have two verbs. You have lastimarse and you have doler. See? Okay, both of these verbs mean to hurt. Okay, so we got to break these down a little bit because they can be confusing. In English, if I say I fell down the stairs and I hurt my head really badly, that's the action of hurting myself, right? But then the next day, I would be like, oh man, my head really hurts. And that is the feeling. So the action of hurting myself is reflexive. It's this verb, it's reflexive. So it automatically will require me, te, se, nos, and se, right? Because it is reflexive. And this is the action. This verb is like, I hurt myself. This one is like, my feet hurt. These are bad shoes. My feet hurt. Not I hurt my feet, but my feet are hurting me. You'll see where I'm going with that in a minute. Let's start with this one because it's easier. It's straightforward. I hurt myself, the action. If I hurt myself all the time, present tense, me lastimo. Te lastimas. This is present tense. Se lastima. Do you know anyone who hurts themselves all the time? Ella siempre se lastima. She always hurts herself. Siempre se lastima. We hurt ourselves. Lastimamos. They hurt themselves. Se lastiman. Los niños pequeños se lastiman mucho, ¿verdad? Se lastiman más que las niñas o menos que las niñas, clase. ¿Qué piensas? Escuchen. Los niños pequeños se lastiman más que las niñas o menos que las niñas. Más que, ¿verdad? Sí. Yo no sé por qué ellos juegan son más fuertes y juegan más agresivos, ¿verdad? Ellos se lastiman menos que las niñas, ¿sí? Okay, so in the past, when we talk about hurting ourselves, and this is what we're going to be spending a lot of our time telling stories about getting hurt. It's another way of looking at this verb is to get hurt. Not just to hurt, but to get hurt. That's the action, okay? We're going to be telling a lot of stories of times where we got hurt. And so when we tell those stories, we will use the preterite, always, scap. It's a single, completed action. This one time, I was playing, and I jumped, and I landed wrong, and I sprained my ankle. Boom, I hurt my ankle. Me lastimé el tobillo. Okay, so for the preterite, is how we will communicate in the past. Me lastimé. I hurt myself. Did you hurt yourself? Te lastimaste. Se lastimó. He or she hurt himself or herself. Nos lastimamos. And of course, se lastimaron. Adrián, en el accidente a TPC, ¿ustedes se lastimaron? No, excelente. Nadie se lastimó. ¿Sí? Excelente. Nadie se lastimó. That's how you would say, nobody got hurt. There were no injuries. Nobody got hurt. No había heridas. Nadie se lastimó. Excelente. Pretty straightforward, right? Can everybody think of a time you got hurt or something that you hurt? I hurt my shoulder. Me lastimé el hombro. I fell out of my bed when I was a kid. Broke my collarbone. Falling out of a bunk bed, the top bunk. Me caí de la cama y me lastimé el hombro. See? Pretty straightforward. The action of hurting ourselves. You guys with me so far? Okay, moving over here. Doler. Doler means to hurt, as in to be painful. Okay, so it's the same, but it's a little different. It's a feeling now. So if I tell you that these shoes are really uncomfortable and my feet hurt, who's receiving that pain? Yeah, just me, right? Okay, so when we talk about present tense right now, my feet hurt, this verb, doler, it's just perfect timing because we just finished a unit on gustar and encantar, and guess what? This is a verb like gustar and encantar. We're going to treat it just like that because the feet are hurting to me. Okay? And that's really what I'm saying. My feet hurt, but they're hurting me. My feet will never hurt you. Thank God for that, right? And your headache will never be an experience of mine, right? So we clarify using these verbs just like gustar. Doler is an O to U-E boot verb. So if one body part hurts, it's duele. And if two body parts hurt, it's duelen. You will not use yo in these sentences, just like gustar. You will not use dueles. You will not do that. You will not use that. One body part hurts, duele. Two body parts hurt, duelen. Feeling. So just like gustar, we use me, te, le, nos, les. So if it's Miley's feet who hurt, how do we clarify that? How do I name Miley with a gustar's type sentence? Miley. Then, le duelen los pies. Miley, le duelen los pies. Because what I'm really saying is that the feet are painful to her. To who? To Miley. They hurt her. They are painful. Okay? Let's say that Gavin's knee hurts. Gavin's knee hurts. How do we say that? Gavin, le duele la rodilla. It's not typical that we would say su rodilla or mi rodilla or tu rodilla because it's kind of considered redundant. Because like I said, my knee will never hurt him and his knee pain will never be felt by me. So it's a little redundant to say that his knee is hurting to him. Well, if it's hurting to him, it's his own knee, right? I'll never mark you wrong for saying su rodilla, but technically you don't need it. We use the L in the law with body parts. All right, so was hurting or hurt yesterday, past tense, feelings, emotions, pain, not action. My head hurting yesterday was not an action. My stomach hurting because I ate too much on Saturday was not an action. It was a feeling. So how would I say my stomach was hurting on Saturday? We go doler, we go to the imperfect. So it's an ER verb. So it's either dolia or dolian. Because when we're talking about emotions or feelings in the past, we use imperfect. When we're talking about action, I fell down and I hurt myself. Preterite. My head was hurting, my stomach was hurting. I don't know when it started, I don't know when it stopped. It was just a feeling, imperfect. Does that make sense? For all the preterite and imperfect we've talked about so far this year, doesn't that? It's not that hard, like it kind of makes sense, right? So we're combining what we know about preterite and imperfect and now what we know about working with these indirect object pronouns. So let's say that after skiing all week, Kala and Kennedy's back was just really hurting them. After skiing all week, our back hurts. They come in and they're limping or they're going, our backs hurt from skiing all week. So if we were saying that about them, Kala and Kennedy's backs hurt after skiing all week, what would we say? A Kala, E A Kennedy. We can name them first. Les. Do they hurt? They hurt now, right? They hurt now. Duelen las espaldas or duele la espalda. We could probably go either way because there are two people, two backs. Les duelen las espaldas. Les duele la espalda. I like les duele la espalda better because they each have one back that's hurting to them, right? Les duele la espalda because you only have one. Yeah, I like that better. Yeah. Okay, so on the back side of the packet is some practice. This is typically like something that my students really struggle with. I feel like between preterite and imperfect and just coming off a Gustar lesson, this might not be so difficult for you guys, but I want you to try it out. A couple questions you need to ask yourselves, okay? The first question I want you to ask yourself, and you can make a note of this if you want to before attempting this page. The first question to ask yourself, is it an action or a feeling? Okay, so think about that. Is it an action or a feeling? If it's an action, you're going to use lastimarse. If it's a feeling, you're going to use doler. The second thing to ask yourself is it in the present tense or the past tense? If it's in the present tense, no problem. If it's in the past tense, I got to use preterite for an action, and I got to use imperfect for a feeling. All right, and then you go from there. Okay, number one is what? My head hurts? I think we've said that. Me duele la cabeza. The a mí is totally optional. If you want to add the a mí me duele la cabeza, the a mí is totally extra. Because by saying me, I know who you're talking about. And then the next one is what? My head, I hurt my head? Is that what it says? I hurt my head? Action or feeling? Action. So here's what's tricky. Present or past? Every day I hurt my head when I walk through the door because I'm so tall. Every day I hurt my head. Yesterday I hurt my head because I walked out the door and I'm so tall. It's the same in English. English is ridiculous, isn't it? So you could go either way. But I would say go with past because that's what we're going to be talking about. Me lastime. And then what? La cabeza. Good. Not mi cabeza. Because I'm not going to have an injury that would be anything other than to my own body. Right? All right. So I encourage you not to translate, not to cheat, not to skip ahead. Just give it a try. I'm going to see that you tried it tomorrow and give you credit, and we'll go over it. Then I'm going to tell you a story about a very clumsy young man and all his accidents and injuries and just get super used to the vocabulary is the plan. Okay?